Guys, new project. This is a bunch of rubber wood that a friend of mine dropped off here, and he wants me to make a coffee table for his daughter that is studying in Stellenbosch. It's a small little coffee table, 500 wide, 900 long, and we're going to see what we can do. The rubber wood is a nice wood to work with. It's a very open grain wood. I don't know if you can see that. A lot like oak. So I've put them through the plane, get them as thick as I can, or leave as much thickness as I can. And then I stack them out on the table to see if I can find the nicest grains for the top, and the rest we'll use for the legs. So let me pick quickly. I'm going to pick the reddish ones that's on this side for the top, and then the whiter ones that side I'm going to leave for the legs. Let me get this squared up, then we make a little coffee table. So that's them squared up now, guys. A little bit of planing and then you're ready for glue up, I think. Don't look at the height difference. And that's the way I want the boards to be orientated when I glue up this top. So what I usually do, I do the normal old triangle. And then I'll mark my biscuits 150 apart. Biscuit them quickly. Put them in the clamps. We can start with the legs. So guys, you've seen me glue up the top, and in the meanwhile when I took it out of the clamps, I put it through the drum sander just to get it smooth, and it came out quite nice. What I've done then is I cut the legs. The legs are slanted at 10 degrees, and then I just took dominoes. I once again borrowed my friend Rob's domino jointer and dominoed the ends for the legs to fit in. And as I say, they are 10 degrees towards the outside. What I want to ask you guys is, my idea is to chamfer the top about 10 mil deep and 40 mil into the top. What do we call that? The upside down pillow cut? I don't know. You comment and tell me. But anyway, so the chamfer is going to be to the bottom. It's going to make the top look a bit thinner. But if I do that, do you think rounding over this or chamfering this? My idea is, because this is a chamfer, I must stick to the chamfer on this side. And I'm thinking of doing it on the table, so say about 15 or 20 mil in. Make a nice deep chamfer for it to suit this. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm going to do a quick test cut and see what that looks like. Oh, and then the center, I just half lap at 32 degrees, or 58 on that side, 32 on this side, on the miter saw, and that makes this cross. So please guys, comment, tell me, what do you think? Since there's a chamfer here, should I chamfer this or just round over it? I think the round over is going to look out. I think if we keep the theme of chamfer this side, chamfer that side, it will look better. And the top is going to be square. So guys, after a ton of test cuts, a whole few coffees, I decided I'll have to build a little jig to cut these chamfers the way I like them. Because if I just cut it against the fence, I get a nice little reveal or shoulder on the one side, but then the other side, it doesn't cut it so nicely. I tried it this way around, which is very dangerous against the fence because the support gets not enough. And then I tried it this way with the blade this way, and it was even worse. The result was even worse. So after a bunch of test cuts, I thought I'll build a very elaborate jig quickly to do this. And this is my jig. I just super glued a little stick or a little fence and a backstop. And on the back of my leg then, I then just, with double-sided tape, or framers tape, I don't know what they call it actually, I then just glue this down. And then just for a little bit of extra insurance, because I'm using a 9mm ply that is not straight on its own, I just then shoot 1 or 2 nails just to make sure she won't be moving. This then I put through the table saw, and that's the result I got. Nice little equal shoulder both sides, and then the chamfers. That's the look I'm going for. And I think that's going to look quite good. Like that. Let me show you how this works. So guys, the distance from my fence to the blade is set. As you saw, I set my blade to 10 degrees. And then I just put my fence or my jig up against my fence, and my cut should stay the same as long as I stay on the edge when I turn it around to cut the other side. It's set at the moment to take off 5mm on each side, and it leaves then a nice 14mm in the center. So I've cut one. Let's cut the second one and see if it comes out as well. It looks great. Let me flip it around to the other side. Guys, that's now the second one cut. And I must say, it looks like a great success to me. You look at the two, just turn it around. You see it's got nice little shoulders that is equal. And quickly going to cut the other two. Got a bit of sanding. And put this together. Let me cut the other two quickly. Get this done. So guys, that's then all the chamfers cut. The little jig that we made with some double-sided tape and some offcuts of wood with some super glue worked a charm. So I can get rid of that, throw that in the offcuts bin, because we'll never use that again. And that's why I don't spend much time making jigs. As you can see, the shoulders came out quite nicely, and the jig worked. The main thing for me was accuracy in the first place, but very important as well to keep the feeders out of the blades. So that helped a lot. So guys, the crosses are done, the legs are done, the dominoes are done. I've cut the legs at 10 degrees this side, 10 degrees that side, and as well as the crosses 10 degrees. The half flaps is cut at 58 degrees, and then of course the ends 10 degrees as well to make up the leg. The leg is then going to sit as follows, something like that, so that the slant is then towards 10 degrees. I've quickly sanded all of this, all of the burn marks away, all of the blade marks is off, and I broke the little corners. Just a quick break, because once we assemble the cross, we won't be able to get in the little corners. That's going to be all sharp corners everywhere. So by sanding it now, it's done. I'm quickly going to assemble this so that the legs are done, and then we can continue with the stock. But I think the worst of the work was this. So plain sailing from here on. So guys, that's the first set of legs glued up. What I've done is I've just cut little wedges out of the test pieces when I tried to cut the chamfers, to make wedges to get the clamp angle right. So like I said, 10 degrees, and chamfers are done, sanded. I hope it's going to work. I'm using for the first time Titebond polyurethane. It's the first time I'm using it, and according to everybody, it's a very good glue. So on a tight fit like the Domino's, I think it will work quite well. We'll see how it fares. And I'm going to leave it now. I don't know how long. However long this guy say. I will leave it an hour or two. And then I'll glue up the next one. And see how we fare. See you then. So guys, what I've done is I trimmed the top to size. In other words, 900 by 500 wide. I then on the table saw cut the chamfers to leave myself a nice little ridge, but nice long chamfers. And I think it came out quite nicely. I don't know if you can see that, like that. And now it's time to fit the legs to the top. What I've decided I'm going to do, because this must travel now about 600 to 800 kilos, I thought I'm going to make it so that it can disassemble. So I can take the legs off and then flat pack it to send it down. So I decided on little wood insert, 6mm, and I got some solid brass button head screws, because not everybody has got this screwdriver tips and stuff that us woodworkers have. So normal slotted cheese head screw that you can then just screw down the legs for assembly once she's done, or once she's down at the university. So let me get this quickly screwed and done, then I'll take you from there. So guys, what I've decided, 5 holes should be enough to hold this legs to the top, and the 6mm bolts that I'm going to use. So it's one on the far end of each leg, one in the center, and that gives me the 5, and that should hold it, no glue. And what I'm using is my drill block with the 6mm guide side, and I just put a 6mm drill bit in there, and then I'm just gonna line it up with my hole, keep it square, and drill it down. I'll do all 5 of them like that, and then we'll make the recess for the heads. The heads, I think, will be about a 10mm hole. 8, yeah, it's a 10. So it will fit nicely into a 10mm. So I'll then do a 10mm recess, not too far, so that we just can grab into the little wood inserts that we're going to put in the top. But I'll show you that. Let me get these drilled quickly. So guys, to mark my holes, I just take a 6mm drill bit, put it in the hole, and then punch it to make a mark. So when I take away, I then have my spot. I've put a collet on my drill bit to stop me from drilling right through, because I only need that much for the insert. So I take my mark, drill to depth, take my countersink, just countersink it a little bit, and then turn my inserting, and it is actually so the reason for the countersink is so that we end up flush. So in other words, it doesn't stick out above the material. Now we can quickly screw the legs on, test fit it. Then I'm going to disassemble. Give it a final sand to take away all my pencil marks everywhere, or to get rid of all the pencil marks. Then we finish it with some Rubia. Let me do a test fit, and then we start the finishing. So guys, that's now a test fit done. Everything sits nice and flush and flat. The big thing for me was the 4 legs. Do they sit nice and flat? But it's a 10-degree cut there and a 10-degree cut up top. So, and as you can see, the idea that I had in my head was, with a chamfer under the top, it makes the top look much thinner. as well as the chamfers that we did on the legs. Makes the legs look much thinner. So it looks dainty, looks small, and I think for a lady that should be fine. Tell me what you think. What do you think of the design? And now it's a quick disassemble, last and final sand, and then we'll give it some Rubio Monocoat. So guys, another product that I use often but I don't show a lot is knot filler that you use with a normal glue gun. I really love this stuff and I've been using it for years now already. And it comes in different colors. You can actually get from your lighter to your darker colors. And that's basically the color range that I've got, that I use the most. And it's very simple to use. So I thought I'll just quickly show you what this works like. So I cleaned out my little knot hole. I fill it up with a knot filler. And I just take an old broken plane, anything with a flat surface that's nice and solid. Close it up. Put it down to weigh it down, shall we say. Then once you've taken it off, I take an old planer blade and I just shave it off. And the nice about this is you can actually sand this. So let me show you how it sands. And that, guys, is a full knot. It works a charm, and the different colors works very well with all the different types of wood. I've got myself a glue gun specially for this. Got another one that's just for the standard glue sticks. And I think I'm going to go buy myself another glue gun. They're not expensive, they're quite cheap. So they have one for the lighter colors and another one for the darker colors. Because it's quite a mission every time to get it clean. To change the color to a different one is a mission, because you waste a lot of the glue and they are quite expensive. A packet like this will cost you something like 400 South African rand, which in my eyes is quite expensive. But you come a long way with this, and it's a very nice finish, very smooth. It handles varnishes very well, as you'll see a little bit later, and it's quick and easy. It doesn't crack, it doesn't shrink, it works well. So guys, that's in the little coffee table done. Rubber wood, and then I treated it with Rubio Monocoat smoky oak color. And I think it came out quite nicely. Please comment, tell me what you would have done different, if you would have changed anything. But I think it will fit nicely in the student's dorm room. Thanks for watching. See you next time.